Hey, this is Nikki G and welcome to Better Commander. Today I want to take a look at Likeness Looter and what this does for the Dimir Self-Mill archetype. Alright, listen up folks. Wilds of Eldraine spoilers are coming hot and heavy, dude. Everybody's getting out their spreadsheets to figure out what's getting reprinted, what's legal in what format, what's commander only and how much the boxes are, what cards come in what booster, and what the list is gonna look like. Hey man, is Oko back? The sexy, shirtless forest dude? He lives in the forest and the trees but doesn't have any dirt on him, dude. He's shiny as the day he was born. Yeah, right, dude. Give me a grimy dark Garuk any day. Anyways, man, I love this card. Let's get into it, but first, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and if you want to support the channel directly, feel free to buy me a coffee at the link in the description. Alright, we got Likeness Looter here. Black and a blue for a creature fairy shapeshifter. It's a 1/1 with flying. Has tap, draw a card, then discard a card. Has X. Likeness Looter becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with mana value X, except it has flying and this ability. Activate only as a sorcery. That little caveat, activate only as a sorcery, makes me really sad, but it's a lot of text for a 2-drop, dude. Now this reminds me of Lazav the Multifarious, and if you aren't acquainted with Lazav, he's a black and a blue for a legendary creature shapeshifter. It's a 1/3. When Lazav the Multifarious enters the battlefield, Surveil 1. Has X, Lazav the Multifarious becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with mana value X, except its name is Lazav, it's legendary in addition to its other types, and it has this ability. Listen to me folks, this is Dimir Self-Mill at its absolute peak. This is what peak performance looks like, dude. You might not like it, but you must accept it. The fact that Lazav can be activated at instant speed makes it far better, but Likeness Looter can be used just as well with certain combos. So yeah man, you have your various looters, cards that help you draw and discard to get impactful creatures in the graveyard. Likeness Looter does this as well as being another creature that can become Phyrexian Dreadnought. So this is one generic mana for an artifact creature, Phyrexian Dreadnought. It's a 12/12. It's Phyrexian Dreadnought and its creature type is Phyrexian Dreadnought. This thing has trample. When this guy enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you sacrifice any number of creatures with total power 12 or greater. This is a little pet card of mine that I like to find ways to break, cheat in, and copy from the graveyard or in response to its ETB. This is an $80 reserve list card, and one that I slotted into a very mean Lazav the Multifarious deck when that card was spoiled. You see, the cool thing about Self-Mill is that there are a plethora of tutors you can use to get exactly what you want in your graveyard. Now Buried Alive is the prototype, dude. You can get a whole combo into the graveyard with this card. I'm partial to the Weatherlight version. You got these silly geese chilling in some dirt, dude. The art is evocative and gross. You also have Entomb, which is another classic harkening all the way back to Odyssey. Look at that bald fella getting up to some buffoonery there. It's 1 black mana for an instant. Search your library for a card, put that card in your graveyard and shuffle. Note that this is an instant, which is maybe why it was $40 prior to a killer reprint and Dominaria Remastered. You can hold up mana and Entomb on your opponent's turn, which can give you big advantages. Unmarked Grave is fantastic. It's 1 and a black for a sorcery. Search your library for a non-legendary card. Put that card in your graveyard, then shuffle. As you can see in recent years, Dimir Self-Mill and Graveyard combo got a couple nice tools. And from the same set, you have Vile Entomber, 2 black for a creature zombie warlock. It's a 2/2 with Death Touch. When this guy enters the battlefield, search your library for a card, put that card in your graveyard, then shuffle. This is just a zombie who got spaghetti sauce all over his hands, dude. And we also got this Sinister Minister, the Eureka Lore Mage, 2 black for a creature human warlock. It's a 3/3. Has tap, search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. If it's an instant or sorcery card, put a +1/+1 counter on a Eureka Lore Mage, but we're not gonna do that, dude. We're getting creatures. Listen man, if you ever come upon a lady with glowing purple energies in the night, you know they're up to no good. This guy's out of Strixhaven. And don't sleep on wheels like Whispering Madness to get a bunch of stuff into the yard, as well as some other tutors like Gravebreaker Lamia. Yeah, fun stuff, brother. So what are we entombing? What are we copying with our buddy, the Likeness Looter? How about some Necrotic Ooze combos? For those of you who aren't acquainted with the Necrotic Ooze, it's 2 black for a creature ooze. It's a 4/3. It lives on my foot, dude. As long as Necrotic Ooze is on the battlefield, it has all activated abilities of all creature cards in all graveyards. This is one of my favorite cards in the whole game, brother. It's only $1 or so, but easily combos with the following cards. You get Pili Pala and Palladium Myrrh in the graveyard, Necrotic Ooze on the battlefield. You got infinite mana, brother. Activate Necrotic Ooze using Palladium Myrrh's ability by tapping it, adding colorless. Activate Necrotic Ooze using Pili Pala's ability by paying 2 and untapping it, adding 1 mana of any color and repeat. You just need Necrotic Ooze on the field to be able to tap. And if the ooze ends up in the yard, just copy it with that stupid likeness looter or Lazav, brother. Now you need at least 4 swamps, but you can sub in Magus of the Coffers for Palladium Myrrh if you want. Omen Hawker also works. This guy's just a weird fish head fella. Now you got infinite mana and probably a way to tutor stuff into your graveyard. So just get this guy in there, dude, the Mind Shrieker. I love this card in self-mill, and you can pay off that infinite mana by milling everybody out. Now if you can get Grimgrin and Bloodline Keeper in the yard, you get infinite death triggers and an infinitely large ooze. But if you can get Triskelion in the yard too, you're just pinging everybody to death, dude. Seems convoluted. But if you're employing all these tutors, it's definitely doable, especially if one piece incidentally ends up in the yard due to your self-mill, dude. These are all pretty budget combos as well. And everybody loves Endling. You know why? Because Endling is 2 guys just chilling out with each other. And it's 2 black and it's a cool looking card. It's a creature zombie shapeshifter. It's a 3/3. Has black, it gains menace. I don't care. Has black, gains death touch. Don't care about that. Has black, it gains undying until end of turn. This is where you can start comboing out with the thing that's got a little pump effect on the bottom. This dumb idiot thing combos nicely with Necrotic Ooze, Triskelion, and Phyrexian Altar. That old altar is a more expensive card, though nowhere near where it was at its peak of $100, dude. It's $19 right now. And guess what, brother? You get that likeness looter out there on the battlefield, you entomb Phage the Untouchable on your opponent's end step. It's 3 black. For a legendary creature avatar minion, it's a 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, if you didn't cast it from your hand, you lose the game. But you get to circumvent that if you're copying it with likeness looter because it's not entering the battlefield. When it deals combat damage to a creature, destroy that creature, don't regenerate it, you can't even try. When Phage deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. Likeness Looter is a fantastic combo with Phage, giving her the flying to fly over and poke people in the dang eye with her stinky finger, dude. And if you want to get cheeky, you can blast off copying Eater of Days and Leveler, these types of cards. These terrible cards allow you to bang in for big, giant damage if you copy them from the graveyard. They never enter the battlefield, so you don't get their negative effects. Same thing with Haunted Horror, dude, which is 35 cents after the reprint in the Horror Tribal deck from Battle for Baldur's Gate, dude. This thing used to be about $7 or so, man. Very powerful card, especially if it's not entering the battlefield. And listen, man, there are ways to exile your library, mentioned above with the Leveler, but slap in Laboratory Maniac and Mirror Mad Phantasm. Mirror Mad Phantasm, you get it in your graveyard. Lazav the Multifarious and Lab Man are on the battlefield. You have a way to draw a card, you have 6 and a blue available, and you can win the game right there. Activate Lazav by paying 5, causing it to become a copy of the Mirror Mad Phantasm. Activate Lazav using Mirror Mad Phantasm's ability by paying 1 and a blue, shuffling Lazav into your library, milling your library due it to not having a card named Mirror Mad Phantasm in it. Draw a card, brother, then you win the game. Hey, wait, hold up, dude. I just want to add a bonus card here. Too bad this card is terrible, but I have made a deck around it that wasn't terrible because I used a bunch of combos. You got Ludovic, Necrogenius, blue and a black for a legendary creature, Human Wizard. When this guy enters the battlefield or attacks, mill a card. Has X, blue, black, exile X creature cards from your graveyard, transform it. X can't be 0, activate only as a sorcery. This guy's a 2/3. Transforms into Olag, Ludovic's Hubris. So as this creature transforms into Olag, it becomes a copy of a creature card exiled with it, except its name is Olag, dude. It's a 4/4 and it's a legendary blue and black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on it, equal to the number of creature cards exiled with it. It's a 4/4. This wants to do similar things, and it's just a fun card to end this stupid video with. So you also have some Demonic Consultation, Thassa's Oracle type stuff you can do if you want to get into a little CEDH type of situation, but I tend to stay away from these combos unless I'm shooting for a much higher power level. But it's fun to conjecture about. Basically, some of these combos are very hard to get into the graveyard, you can respond to them, but you know what, that's the fun of Commander, dude. You're playing into an archetype where you're milling your own cards, you're having a great time. It's also nice to see this archetype get some love and some really sweet support, dude. While I don't think Likeness Looter will be an expensive card, I'm glad it exists. It doesn't seem super pushed, but it does seem fun to build around, and it does a lot for 2 mana, dude. Hey, listen, enjoy yourselves out there, brother. Go outside, take your shoes off, alright? This is Nicky G from Better Commander, signing off.